Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about some wild publishing dreams. So this has been kind of like an unofficial tag floating around the authortube community. It started, I guess, by Lindsay Puckett. I absolutely love her videos. If you guys have not checked her out yet, definitely do. I'll link her video and her channel down below so you guys can go subscribe to her and watch her video. But I've seen so many people do this video, and I kind of did like a rendition, I guess, of a video like this last year. It was called Dreaming as a Writer, I think, and it was more just like a sit down, just like kind of random chatty video where I was just talking about some dreams and some like wishes. I was just being really emotional about publishing. But this is going to be a more clear cut video where I'm actually sitting down and going through some of my wildest publishing dreams. I have some written down here. I'm ready to get emotional about the things that I want to happen. So kind of like the whole purpose of this video, I guess, is to just talk about some of your wildest publishing dreams, things you might not have control over, but things that would just be really, really nice for when you're published. So I am obviously not published. I'm not even agented. So those are obviously like the first step in these dreams, is to obviously get an agent, be published, and whatever. But these are all going to be dreams I'm going to talk about for when I'm actually published. So these are in no particular order, but the first dream that I have written down is to have a book launch party at my local Indigo. Obviously that's not a thing that's happening right now because of COVID, but I'm hoping that by the time I'm actually published, COVID will be a thing of the past. I actually went to a book launch event party for a book at my local chapters last year by a local author, and I didn't realize that that was a thing that I could do, and I would just absolutely die to be able to have a book launch event for my book at an Indigo that I've been shopping at since I was little. It's the store that I always go to when I want to go buy books, but it's an absolute dream, I think, to have any sort of book event there for my book. Yeah, like I dream about it, and having like cute like treats or like swag or something to give away to readers I think would be really, really fun, and be able to have family and friends come would be really cool as well. So that's definitely like one of the things I'd really love to do. Another dream is to have fan art made of my books. I never really thought too much about it, but I love my characters, and I find that there's never like a perfect photo like on Pinterest or anything that perfectly captures who my character is. So I think it would just be the coolest thing if a reader were to read my book and draw something from it. Like, just, I know how much time it takes to create something like that, and it would just mean the world if somebody would put in that time and effort for one of my characters from my book. Like, how cool would that be? Oh, I just think that'd be so cool. Like, I love fan art. I love looking at fan art on Pinterest. I just love seeing characters from books that I love, and I just think it'd be the coolest thing to have it for my book. I want to cry. Be prepared for me to almost cry throughout this entire video, but I just think it'd be so cool like to see, like, especially for like Reasons Why Not To, which is the book that I'm hoping to be my debut novel, to see Lila with her curly orange hair and maybe like a book in her hand. I just think it'd be the coolest thing, like genuinely the coolest thing, and I think there are so many opportunities within Reasons Why Not To make fan art of it. I just think it'd be so cool. Kind of roughly in the same vein as fan art, I would also love to see my characters as Funko Pops. I don't know the likelihood of it being like an official like Funko Pop, a licensed item, like where Funko actually makes the Funko Pops, because books just don't really get Funko Pops. But like the only books that really have Funko Pops are ones that have movie adaptations, which we'll get to in a minute, like To All the Boys I've Loved Before or something like that. So I'm not expecting like actual licensed Funko Pops of my characters, but I know that people like on Etsy and whatnot love to create like custom Funko Pops. I've seen the Lunar Chronicles, I've seen Akatar. So I would just love if somebody were to make a custom Funko Pop of my characters, or at least Lila. I think would be really, really cool. And again, like I just think it would be so cute. Like Lila's like cartoon character outfit is like a yellow shirt of some sort and like overalls, and I just think that would be so cute in a Funko Pop with like her curly orange hair. Oh my god, and I would just love to like decorate my desk with like Funko Pops of my characters. Guys, that is the dream. That is the dream. So another one that is about like book events is I would love to go to a book festival or a book convention as an author. Not like I've ever been to one as a reader, and I would like to do that as well, but I would love to go to a book festival or a book convention as an author, have a signing, have like an arc drop or something. Just be able to meet readers, I think would be really cool. I would love it so much. Like, I think I would cry. I would get really emotional, and I think it would just be like the best time ever. The amount of times that I practice my signature, you guys don't even know. Like, I dream about signing books, and so kind of to go in like with a book launch and go to a book festival or a book convention, I just want to do book signings as well. Whether it's like a whole book tour, which I'm not expecting whatsoever because they're just not that common anymore, or just even going into a Chapters or a bookstore and just being like, hey, I wrote this book and do you want me to sign your stock? Like, how cool would that be? It'd be nerve-wracking, but it would be cool to go into a store, sign my books, and then like post about it being like, guys, there's signed copies at the store. I'm really excited. Okay. The next dream is get a blurb from my favorite author. I would literally die to have any author that I've read from or have looked up to blurb my book. Like to have like something on the front cover or the back or whatever, just some sort of blurb from a favorite author or just from somebody that I admire gushing about my book and endorsing my book, I think would be the coolest thing, because there have been times where I've picked up a book and I've seen that one of my favorite authors have blurbed it, and it makes me just like that much more excited to read it, because I'm like, if they love it, then that must be a good sign for the book. So just like thinking about seeing like the name of one of my favorite authors on the cover of my own book, of them saying nice things about my book, I think would be so validating and so cool, because then they would know who I am and they would have read my book. What? Cool. Okay. I would die if that actually happened. Like, I know that it's really hard to get blurbs, but I think it would be like the absolute coolest thing. My next dream was never really like a dream before I started watching like a bunch of these videos, because I just never really realized like the importance of it. But I would love for my book to go into a second printing. So that just basically means that my whole first printing, however many books that is, have all been sold, and so they need to print more. Like, just think about it. So many people buy your book that you have to print more, so there's more copies of your book. I just think that'd be the coolest thing, because then like the number line in the book would like go down and it'd be so cool. I'm sorry, like that would just be the coolest thing, because then that's like, again, like that's just so validating, and to just know that people are enjoying your book and want to read your book, and so they need to have more copies of your book, it would just be so cool. Okay, so the next dream is something that was a dream when I was like younger, and then it kind of like faded away, and I was like, no, I don't know if I really want that. But now it's come back in like full swing in the last year or so, and that's to have a movie adaptation of my book. A movie, not a TV show. I don't like TV show adaptations most of the time, but I would love a movie adaptation of my book. And the reason why I never really thought I wanted this before is because it's not very likely. Like, yes, a lot of books are optioned, but not a lot of them actually end up being made. And sometimes when they do get made, they're not good. I always had this fear like they're gonna mess up my book. And then I also kind of had this thought where I was like, my book's just not interesting enough to be a movie, which is so stupid, because there's a lot of like contemporary rom-coms that are adapted, you know, like those are my favorite adaptations, and I feel like they're the easiest to get right in a way. I feel like when you have fantasies, there's just so many things that can be left out, but I feel like I enjoy contemporary adaptations way more, and that's what I write, and so I think that would be really cool. And then what's kind of really like tipped it over the edge for me to want an adaptation of my books is because my books are set where I live, and where I live, it just so happens to be a hot spot for filming. Everything films here, which is just amazing, and it's so cool. And so because everything films, my movie, if I were to get a movie adaptation, could film here, and because it's actually set here, you know what I mean? Like, how cool would that be? And then because it could film here, I also could go visit the set. So yeah, I just think it'd be perfect to have a movie adaptation, because just everything like lines up. To see your characters come to life like that, I think would literally be so emotional and so amazing. And I love when authors get adaptations of the books and you get to like see pictures of them visiting set or get cameos in the movies like Angie Thomas or Jenny Han. Like, it's just so amazing, and I want that. I want that for myself, you know what I mean? And I think it'd be so much fun. So another dream, which I've noticed is on a lot of people's dream lists from these videos that I've seen, and I feel like it's just a lot of people's dreams, is to be on the New York Times bestseller list, or just any sort of bestseller list, Amazon, like whatever. But it's just like one of those things where even though you know it's messed up, and even though you know that it's rigged and whatnot, like you still want it, you know, because there's that level of like prestige around it, and that level of like where even people who aren't in this community or in this industry know that it's like a big deal to be a New York Times bestseller. And so like, how cool would that be to just be able to be like, yeah, I'm a New York Times bestselling author, and then like for every book that you write after that, it's gonna say New York Times bestselling author on it. And I just think that'd be really cool. Do I think I'm gonna hit the list? Probably not. Am I still gonna dream about it? Yeah, I will. And you know what? It doesn't have to happen on like your first book or even your first couple of books. It could be like 10 books into my career I could get on the list. It's just something that I never want to like not think about, but it's also something that I don't want to think about too much, because I know that it's most likely not going to happen, but it's still like a cool thing to think about. And then the last dream that I've decided to talk about today is one that I did mention in that video that I made last year, but I want to adjust it a little bit. So I talked about wanting to see my book featured on BookTube, just as like be watching BookTube and just see my book casually in a video. And I talked about how this one is more likely than other things on this list, just because I have friends who are booktubers. I just know that they would mention my book. But then I was rewatching the video recently, and I'm like, well, that's such like a cop-out thing. Like, that wouldn't be as cool as to just see some random booktuber or somebody that you love watching talk about your book. Like, it's more expected to see it from my friends, which doesn't make, like, it's still really cool, but it's just not the same as seeing somebody random talk about my book. And so that's my new adjusted dream, is to just be watching BookTube and see somebody talk about my book. I'm not gonna watch reviews or anything like that, but I'm thinking like in a book haul, just to see it on BookTube, on somebody's shelf in the background, I think would be really cool. Because I'm so into BookTube, I watch it all the time. I've been a part of the community for years now. So I just think it would be so validating and so rewarding to see my book featured on a platform that I've been so involved in for like so many years. And so that is definitely something that I dream about all the time. So those are kind of all the dreams that I decided to talk about today. I do have some more that I just didn't feel like including, or that I talked about more in the last video. So if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. It's gonna be up in the cards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below some of your writing, publishing dreams if you have any, because I'd really love to know. Maybe I'll even be able to add some new dreams to my list based off of your guys' dreams. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.